What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be going through the 2025 college football schedule for the Michigan Wolverines. I am going to predict every game on the schedule and predict their record. But before we get into predicting their season, let's talk about this team and their roster. This is a Michigan team that 2 years ago won a national championship, but almost all of those players from that national championship team are gone now. They have a new culture with head coach Sharon Moore, and they got some new faces coming in. And the future of this team has to be the freshman quarterback, Bryce Underwood, the highest rated quarterback in On3 ever. This guy is a true five-star freshman who's going to start for Michigan most likely. They also got Mikey Keene if something goes wrong with Bryce. But this guy has massive potential at quarterback. They got a beast at running back in Justice Haynes, a former five-star that they got from Alabama. They also got a young stud in Jordan Marshall. I think their running back room is going to be better than last season. The offensive line has some young pieces, though. They have some development to do there, and the receiver room is a question mark. They also have to deal with the issue of Sharon Moore getting suspended a few weeks at the start of the season, and more importantly, Sharon Moore will miss the early season game against Nebraska. A lot of people are high on this Michigan team, but I think they're going to have to face a lot of adversity and obstacles. I think it's not going to be an easy road for them to get back to playing very good football and winning double-digit games. If you look at the defense, they have some good pieces. They should be solid on defense, but I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last season and the season before because they lost their two big-time defensive tackles in Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham. They lost the top cornerback in the nation in Will Johnson. Offensively, they lost Colston Loveland. They lost a ton of NFL talent. Sharon Moore is using the portal and recruiting at a high level, but there's definitely some development that needs to be done. But anyways, with that being said, let's get into predicting their schedule. And Michigan opens the season with an easy matchup. They play New Mexico at home. Maybe if New Mexico still had Devin Dampier, this could be a worrisome game. Michigan actually struggled with Fresno State last season. I do think Michigan will have a more intact roster. This will be Sharon Moore's second season as the head coach. They have some faces that have been together for a few years, but the question is, how good will Bryce Underwood be right away? I don't see Underwood having a problem in this game. I think Michigan wins this game and moves to 1-0. But Michigan will not just get to walk through an easy non-conference schedule. They do play New Mexico, but then they go on the road to play Oklahoma. And Oklahoma could potentially be a dangerous team if they put it all together. Honestly, when I compare Michigan and Oklahoma, I think they're two very similar teams. But I think the difference in this game is going to be the quarterback position and the fact that Oklahoma has this game at home. I know Bryce Underwood's a five-star quarterback with massive potential. He might be a future Heisman finalist and a future first-round pick. But if I compare him to John Mateer should be the better quarterback. He has more experience, and I don't see Bryce Underwood just being super good in year one. He will have to face some good defenses, and he will have to do it with a questionable offensive line and a receiver room that really needs guys to step up. So honestly, I trust John Mateer in this game. I think Oklahoma will have a good enough rushing attack and a good defense, and they have it at home. So I do think Michigan will fall short in this game. I think it could be a close one, but I'm taking Oklahoma. Give me Michigan to lose this game and move to 1-1. Michigan will then play Central Michigan at home. And although I really like the hire of Matt Drinkle spent the last 6 years at Army. He was a great co-offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. And Matt Drinkle is someone who led a Division II school in Ferris State to a national title. He's got good experience as a head coach, and I do think he gives Central Michigan hope to turn it around as a program. But I don't expect them to challenge Michigan. I think Michigan wins this game big and moves to 2-1. Michigan will then go on the road to play Nebraska. I think these two teams are going to be very similar. But again, home field advantage can make a big difference. And I also think Nebraska does have a slight advantage in this game because they will have their coaching staff intact, while Michigan's Sharon Moore will miss this game due to suspension. This is an early season game. Bryce Underwood will still be finding his footing. And I think Nebraska's going to be even better next season. I think Nebraska will win a very close game. I trust the defense, and I trust Dylan Raiola at quarterback in year two. I think Matt Rhule is a great head coach. So I'm taking Michigan to lose this game as well and move to 2-2. Following the bye week, though, I do expect Michigan to turn it up. They will then play Wisconsin on the road off of a bye week. And Wisconsin is a team with a lot of pressure on them. Luke Fickell could be in the hot seat. If this team misses another bowl game, that would be embarrassing. Wisconsin has been one of the better Big Ten programs over the last decade or two, but with Luke Fickell, they have just went absolutely downhill. They even missed a bowl game last season. It has been a huge struggle on offense, and that's surprising. Luke Fickell is the guy that led Cincinnati to the playoffs, but obviously he just hasn't had it at the Big Ten level. And when I look at the roster, I do think they could be a little bit better next season, but they still have some big question marks, and they have a very tough schedule. And at this point, I don't trust Luke Fickell to turn this team around in any big way. I think this would be a great opportunity for Michigan to get it going. They have it at home off of a bye week. They'll have their head coach back. Give me Michigan to win this game and move to 3-2. The road games do not get any easier. They have to travel across the country to play USC, a team that they really should have lost to last season, and a team that has very good talent heading into next season. USC is a team that could be dangerous. Lincoln Riley has had a couple of quiet seasons, but this team is now under the radar, and I think this could be the perfect season for them to step up. They returned two very good receivers from last season in Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane. They add one of Boise State's top receivers as well. They got a great backfield with Eli Sanders and Raymond Jordan, and Jenna Mayava is a quarterback who could be really solid. Defensively, they got some experience, and they got a very solid coaching staff. This is a team that lost all their games by one possession last season outside of the Notre Dame loss. This USC team was a couple of plays away from being a top contender in the Big Ten. I know their record doesn't really show it at 6-6, but they were very competitive. And year 2 in the Big Ten should be a better year for Lincoln Riley, and I think I do trust them to beat Michigan at home in this game. Again, I just don't know how Bryce Underwood will fare in these road games, and I don't know how much talent that Michigan offense has. USC is a tough place to play. I think Michigan will fall short in this game and move to 3-3. Michigan will get a game back at home. They play the Washington Huskies. I'm kind of in the same boat with USC as I am in Washington. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those two teams took a step forward, and maybe they're a sneaky contender in the Big Ten, and I think Washington especially has the quarterback. Damon Williams is going to be a breakout quarterback. They return one of the top backs in the nation in Jonah Coleman. They got a pretty solid receiver room with Denzel Boston back and Kevin Green Jr., and Amari Evans is a good pickup. Defensively, they have a veteran defense. They have a lot of seniors and juniors. And they add two of the top players from Arizona's defense in Takario Davis and also Jacob Manu. Those guys were both very good. They led Arizona to double-digit wins last season. They were the top two players on the defense. Look, I think Washington has a very solid roster, and Jedd Fisch is a great head coach. But they will have to travel across the country to play a Michigan team that is going to be desperate for wins at this point. I don't see Michigan losing another game. I think this will be a win for Michigan and move to 4-3. Michigan will then go on the road to play Michigan State. This could be a trap game for Michigan. But I do think at this point of the season, Bryce Underwood will be playing better football. I think Michigan's defense will be intact. I think Michigan State is going to be better next season, maybe a bowl team. But Michigan has had the edge over Michigan State for the last couple of seasons. I trust Michigan's defense in this game. And Michigan State has some questions on offense. They really need Aiden Childs to step up. I think this could be a close game, but I'm going to trust that Michigan squad to get the win. I think some of their talent steps up. I have them moving to 5-3. Michigan will then get Purdue at home. Although Purdue has a new head coach in Barry Odom and some good talent coming in, they have a lot of question marks. They went 1-11 last season. They were terrible last season. It's not like Barry Odom has taken over a group of 5 roster. They have to play some good Big Ten teams, and I don't see them turning it around from 1-11. They'll be better next season, but they won't stand a chance against Michigan. Give me Michigan to win this game and move to 6-3. Michigan is kind of catching a break from the tough competition. They go on the road to play Northwestern. This could be a trap game. Maybe Michigan has a slow game coming off the bye week, and Northwestern's a pretty weird place to play. But talent-wise, I have to take Michigan. They're just way better. Northwestern has a quarterback in Preston Stone that could lead this team to a win or two in the Big Ten. But I just don't see this team being that great. I think Michigan will win this game on the road and move to 7-3. Michigan will then go on the road to play Maryland. I think Maryland's kind of in the same boat as Northwestern. They're both not super talented and they have a lot of questions. And Maryland is kind of trending downhill. They lost to Aaliyah Tagovailoa 2 years ago. They took a step back last season. They lost their quarterback. And this past season, they lost a ton of production. I just don't have great expectations for this team in the Big Ten landscape. So again, I'm going to trust Michigan to continue the momentum, winning this game, and move into 8-3. And here we have that Michigan will end their season with a home game against Ohio State. Can Michigan do it for the 5th year in a row? I don't think they'll beat Ohio State again. Look, even if Michigan beats Ohio State this upcoming season by some surprise again, I would still pick Ohio State the following season because Ohio State is just the better and more talented team, especially heading into next season. It seems like Ryan Day and that squad figured it out at the end of last season, and I think they have the talent. I think they'll beat Michigan. I think Michigan will finally lose to Ohio State. I have them moving to 8-4. So my prediction for the Michigan Wolverines in 2025 is that they go 8-4. So obviously, I think they'll be pretty solid. I don't think they'll be as good as a playoff contender. I wouldn't quite put them in that conversation. I think they got some very good competition like Washington, USC, Illinois, and Indiana. Those teams should kind of be on the same level of Michigan, but I honestly like those teams more. I have questions with Bryce Underwood in year one as a quarterback. It's one thing to be a true freshman stud like Jeremiah Smith, but as a quarterback, you have to lead the team on your shoulders, and he has to do it against tough defenses. It's a lot different of a story for a freshman quarterback to take over a Big Ten team, and he has to do it with a not so great receiving room. Look, I think Michigan is going to be solid, but I don't think they're going to take that big step forward and be elite. I think they might be a little bit better, but I have questions. But anyways, you guys leave your prediction for Michigan down in the comments below. But let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing. And also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.